Hi Mustangs, it's Mrs. Komiak, and we're here in my kitchen to do a little kitchen science, and we're doing our first experiment. Now you may have noticed that this is a little bit different, and we had you make some changes in your notebook. And today we're working on how does the temperature of the water affect the number of stirs that it takes for sugar to dissolve. Okay, so instead of how long does it take, we're doing how many stirs does it take. So our independent variable is the temperature of the water. So that's what we're checking. How does the temperature? So with the temperature of the water, we're gonna have two different types of water, hot and cold. Not types of water, but temperatures of water, hot and cold. And we're gonna be looking at the number of stirs. So we're gonna have a specific stirring technique to completely dissolve sugar. Other things we're gonna be keeping the same though are the same amount of water, the same amount of sugar, and the same stirring technique. We'll have that down. So here are some pro tips. Okay, we make sure we really want a big difference in the temperature of hot and cold water. So what we're going to do is we can fill the hot water last and put the cold water in the refrigerator. We can always let the hot water run a little bit, so let the tap run until it becomes hot. We also, of course, want to think about safety. We want to use water from the sink, right? Not like boiling water from a kettle. And we want to make sure that we can use glasses that can allow hot water. Of course, we want to level off, okay? And you want to measure from the bottom of the meniscus. So getting at eye level and the bottom of the meniscus. And then here's some extra pro tips that I came up with that I think might be helpful to you. Is I felt like I was taking too long to measure the sugar. So you might want to like cut a little piece of wax paper or just a note card or just a scrap piece of paper and pre-measure the sugar or put it on a paper towel or something so that it's all ready to go. I also like I found that it was helpful to have like an extra glass. Can't find that. To have an extra glass or jar so you can dispose of the water, and then if you need to add a little bit more, right handy right next to you. Okay, so those are my pro tips, and let's get started. So the first thing we need to have out is we need our measuring spoons. Now we've also changed, instead of doing 1 tablespoon or even 1 teaspoon, we're going to go down to our smallest, right, that we have usually, which is 1/4 of a teaspoon. If you don't have 1/4 of a teaspoon, that's okay. You can do 1/2 a teaspoon, right? But try to use the smallest amount that you have. So we're going to do 1/4 of a teaspoon with sugar. So we have our sugar, we have our measuring spoon, we have our liquid measuring spoon. We need something to level off our sugar with, so that. We need our glasses, 6 glasses. That's kind of a lot of glasses. If you don't want to use 6 glasses, again, another pro tip, you can just use 1 for hot and 1 for cold. And I'm looking for my labels here. 1 for hot and 1 for cold. 1 glass for cold. And 1 glass for cold. And then you can just dry it off and reuse it in between. Okay, so we're ready to get started. I'm going to leave you some time to go gather your materials, and then I will come back.